Okay, so this is the final video, hopefully. Depends if I make any mistakes. I've had a particular tutee asking for this video. So hopefully this will help her. Okay, hopefully it helps people that do watch these videos. In the previous videos, there's been 2 mistakes. And the reason is I am rushing these questions. I'm not reading them. And I'm not double checking what I'm doing. So it's really good that you're watching me do this, but you've got to know that even people like me, because I'm being quite arrogant, I think I can do the questions quickly. I'm rushing them and I'm making mistakes. So, mistakes that I made. I didn't read this question. Okay, it was about a cube. And a cube looks kind of like that. Okay, and then it's saying about the number of faces. So there are 2 on the front, 2 on the top, and 2 on the sides. So that should have been 6. Okay, that's one mistake I made. If I go back to this one, my class actually recognised I made mistakes. They're pretty good. It was here, so when I was adding up, okay, it was 10. So it's 1060. So if it's 1060, no, he doesn't have enough. Okay, so basic mistakes can slip in. Okay, so hopefully you've gone into this video and you've been able to go back and change those. If not, well, you should have carried on. You didn't listen to this anyway, so it doesn't matter if you didn't carry on with this video. Okay, so we're approaching, so we're at 56 marks already. This is securing the grade 5, maybe securing the grade 4, because some of the questions you wouldn't have been able to do, and these are just going to help you get to that point. So let's have a look. So question 21, the diagram shows the fish tank in the shape of a cuboid. The dimensions of the tank are here, so this is just repeating what you can see visually. So you've got those. 3/4 of the tank is full of sand. Okay, so 3/4 of water. Oh, okay, I'll read the question clearly. The tank is 3/4 full of water and sand. I just looked at sand and then just looked at that. So up to here is 3/4. That's what we know there, because that's the water line. So that's there. That's 3/4 worth. The ratio of the volume of water to the volume of sand is 5:1. So this area here where the water is 5 times bigger than the sand. You must work out the number of litres in the tank and show you're working out. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So also at litres, we need to know the conversion. So you might get like maybe up to, I don't know, 3 marks without knowing the conversion between centimetres cubed and litres. But we'll need to use that. Okay, so that's coming up later. But I think there are 1,000 centimetres cubed to 1 litre. So that's something we need to consider. Okay, so I'm going to use that later. So we're talking about volume. So the volume of any cuboid is the 3 dimensions multiplied together. So 50 times 32 times 20. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to find the volume of anything really. I could do the volume of the sand or the water. Okay, so let's have a look what we've got. I'm just trying to think what to do, because I'm doing what you're doing. I'm trying to think what should I do. So I know the volume, so blah 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 blah. So I'm going to find the volume of sand. I think that's what I'm going to do. So the volume of the sand, I need to know the height. So this is 3/4 of 32. Okay, so if I break 32 into quarters, so I do 32 divided by 4, I get 8. So each quarter is 8. Okay, so this height here is actually 24. Oh, now I can actually see what I'm doing. So I can't find the volume of the sand. When I start to figure it out, I've only got the height of the water and the sand together. That's all I've got. Okay, so if I draw the cuboid that I've actually got for the volume of the water and the sand, so I've got 50 this way. I've got 24 as a height and 20 as depth. So I'm going to multiply those together. Okay, so you've just got to figure it out, so you've got to go and multiply it by yourself. So I'm going to do 24 times 2, which is 48, and I'm going to do 48 times by 5, so that's 40 carry 4, that's 20, so that's 240. There were 2 extra zeros in that, so I've got 2,400, okay, centimetres cubed. So that's the total volume of the water and sand. Okay, and we know that if we share this out, it's going to be shared out in the ratio 5:1. That's what's going to happen. So I know that I could use bar modelling here. This is a nice idea. I could use bar modelling. So I've got 5:1. So 5 parts that side, 1 part that side, and I know that the whole thing is 24,000. The whole thing is going to be split into 6 parts. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. So this would actually be 4,000. Each part is 4,000. Okay, and for the water I've got 5 lots of 4,000, which is 20,000. Okay, 20,000 centimetres cubed. And at the beginning I said that 1,000 of these would make 1 litre. So if I divide that by 1,000, to cancel off these zeros, I get 20 litres. Okay, it's quite a complicated question, and you can see from me, even though I haven't read it, but then I had to start figuring out what information I did have. Okay, now if I didn't want to use the bar modelling, so let's say I wanted to split it here, I could go 5 add 1. 5 add 1 is 6 parts, and then to find 1 part I could still do 24,000 divided by 6. Okay, the bar modelling is just helping display what we've got. Okay, there we go, to 20 litres. Right, this question's a bit sneaky, and most people in my... Well, actually, it's not true. About half got it right, but I think they heard me giving somebody some advice when they were doing their assessment, and then it sort of did like Chinese whispers. Loads of people got the answer. So, in a sale, a cooker is reduced by 50%. At the end of the sale, the price of the cooker is increased by 50%. Betty says the cooker is now the same price as it was before the sale. Is she correct? Okay. So, you don't have any prices. So, the best thing to do is maybe make up a price. So let's say that the cooker was £100 and it went down by 50%. 50% would be £50. So to go down by that, the new cooker price would be £50. Okay, that's with a 50% reduction. Now if I add 50% back on, so now it's worth £50, they're going to add 50% of this back on. So we know 50% of 50 is 25. So if I increase it by 25, the new cooker price will be 75. So it's gone from 100 down to 50, then back up to 75. So is she correct? No. Okay, and I've proved it there. I've showed some values there. Okay, just because they both say 50% doesn't mean it's 50% of the same amount. Okay, so it's very important that if you've got the information, be confident that you could make up the question, make up a scenario. Some people could go down the multiplier route. You could do anything you want to really to prove it, but that's the most obvious way for me. Make up some values. Okay, this is not working for me this way, so I'll put it this way because it's my exam. I can do what I want. Okay, and what it's saying is all angles are measured in degrees. Work out the value of y. This is a kite, and a kite has some key information. It is a technical shape. So if I were to draw a line of symmetry down here, I can. This is symmetrical, which means these two angles in a kite are equal. So that's the starting point I'm going to use. These two angles are equal. So if they're equal, I can write that algebraically. So 5x minus 10 equals 3x plus 10. So I can start the equation. If I try and add all these together and start trying to take away 360, you have two unknowns, x and y. That's not an ideal situation for us. Okay, it's easier to go with just the same unknown, x, and then go with that. So I'm going to expand this. Now I'm going to start the process of solving. So I'm going to take away 3x from both sides. So that becomes 2x minus 50 equals 10. Then I'm going to add 50. So remember, I'm doing the opposite of what I've got. So to get rid of a negative 50, I'm going to add 50 to both sides. So 2x equals 60. Then divide by 2. So x equals 30. So at the moment, I've figured out that the unknown x is 30 in this diagram. So let's think about what that looks like. So instead of having these x's now, I can get rid of them and change to 30. So 3 times 30 add 10. 3 times 30 is 90, add 10 is 100. So that is 100 right there. But these are equal, so that's also 100. So now I've got 3 angles in a quadrilateral. I've got 110, I've got 2 hundreds, and y. So if I add these up, I get 310. We know that 310 add y should equal 360, so y must be 50. So you can do 360 take away 50, or 360 take away 310 or whatever. In actual fact, if you show that, you might get a bit of credit if you use the wrong value, to be honest. There you go. It looks complicated, but what they're doing is they're relying on your basic knowledge of shape. So if this was a rectangle, the sides would be equal. Okay, so the two opposite sides would be equal. So you have to think about, what does the property of the shape tell me? Okay, so use the features. So by now, we are on, that was 4, that was 6, that was 11 more. We're now on 67 marks in total. Okay, so 67 marks is definitely going to get you a grade 5. 100% it's going to get you a 5. Okay, there's no doubt. It cannot go up that much within a year. Okay, in terms of the boundaries. So now we're just trying to secure, maybe you couldn't do 3 or 4 questions at the beginning, and now you're trying to hit these questions to make sure you guarantee those marks. Okay? So simultaneous equations. Now we cannot eliminate an unknown here. We've got x's and y's, and that's a problem, so we've got to get rid of one of them. So for the sake of it, I always try and get rid of the y's. Now I'm tempted just to show you the default way. So if this was a normal simultaneous equation, I'll be multiplying the top equation by 4 and the bottom equation by 2. But it's easier than that, because this is a 2 and this is a 4. I can make 2y into 4y just by doubling the top equation. So that will give me 6x minus 4y equals minus 10. And then the bottom equation doesn't have to change. Oh, I nearly changed it though. Okay. Now I've got 2 coefficients that are the same. I'm going to eliminate these. So remember, I write down stop. If the sign is the same, we're going to take away. If it's opposite, we're going to add them. So they are clearly the same. So we're going to take away these equations. Okay? So 6x take away 2x is 4x. These y's, don't even think about using them. They've gone. Equals minus 10 take away 2. Right. Number line on the desk. Minus 10 take away 2 is minus 12. Okay, so minus 12. Then I'm going to divide by 4. So x equals minus 3. 4 goes into 12 3 times. It's a negative to start off with, so it's minus 3. Okay, that is x done. Now they're being really tight. I have to say, really tight on the marks. Okay, normally you could rely on maybe 4 marks for a simultaneous equation. I think it might be, because you only had to, in the end, only change 1 equation, maybe. Okay, or they're just increasing their expectations. They just want you to work harder for less marks. So, unfortunately, that's your world at the moment. So to get the other one, I'm going to substitute back in. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose an equation from the top. It doesn't matter which one. And I think x is minus 3. So 3 times minus 3 minus 2y equals minus 5. Oh, light switched off. Oh, that's alright then, that's alright. Minus 9 minus 2y equals minus 5. Okay, then I'm going to start to eliminate some stuff. So get rid of the minus 9 by adding it. So minus 2y equals 4. And if you're not sure, you might want to draw a number line or look at this. So minus 5, add 9, takes me to 4. Or think about the other way around, because you can. 9 take away 5 is 4. Then I'm going to divide by 2, minus 2, so y equals 4 divided by 2 is 2, divided by minus 2 is minus 2, so minus 3 and minus 2.